Okay, online school, let's talk about it. I just completed 1 year of online classes at the illustrious Howard University. I'm a sophomore, well, I will be a junior, TV and film production major, English minor, and I have an entire list of all of my feelings about online classes. Let's talk about it. My first thoughts on this is that we kind of just got thrown into online school, honestly, because we went home March 2020, right? But from March 2020 until May 2020, I didn't have online classes. Like, my professors did not meet on Zoom. I had like an essay due for the end of the semester and then like one other project, but like it was a pass/fail system. So the professors didn't really know what to do. Students really didn't know what to do. University didn't really know what to do. It was kind of still all up in the air whether we were ever gonna come back to school or not. So it was kind of very messy, but the point being that we literally didn't do anything for those couple months. So when September rolled around and classes just were full force into online school, it was very weird. And I felt like we were just thrown into it. It was very rushed. Because even with that, professors still confused, university still confused, students still confused. Like, I feel like no one had a clear idea of what online school actually was going to be, but we were just told, hey, you gotta go back to school. It's August, go back to school, let's do it. And that alone, I have such a problem with, but it's fine. The next part of online school that I think is a very big reality for a lot of students is that I didn't learn as much as I thought I was gonna learn, or I didn't learn as much as I should have learned. I'll say it that way. And the problem with this is that next semester, when hopefully we are back in person, I'm not sure yet at the time of filming this, next semester my professors are gonna assume that I learned everything I was supposed to learn this past year. And I just don't think that's gonna be fair, but I know that's just how it's gonna go. So yeah, it makes me nervous that when we do get in person, professors and the university and just everyone is gonna be expected to just hop back in and just know exactly what to do. But like, when you think about this, I went home a freshman and I'm going back a junior. That is really weird. I missed an entire year and a half really of college life, college experience. Like, yes, I understand Howard, but I'm not gonna know it as well as I should or understand it as well as I should, which is kind of bummy. This part really got me, okay? Also, I'm trying to figure out my sitting position. I don't know what I like. I feel like I like this mermaid pose, but like, it's not natural either. Okay, okay, whatever, we're just gonna sit, right? Okay. Now, this doesn't just go for Howard. I'm sure every single college is like this, and every student is like this. A part of going to college and picking your college is the social aspect of it. I'm not just talking about partying, I'm talking about meeting your friends, dorm life, the caf, walking around campus. Like, there's so many aspects to college that were just taken away from us. Like, it literally was just school. And I guess when you strip college down to the core, it is just school. Like, you're just learning, you're there to get a degree. No, I know the university really couldn't give us that social aspect in any way, but I just think it was very hard and frustrating. I'd mentioned it in one of my videos, which also I literally vlogged the entire year, but I feel like I had just some thoughts that I never mentioned or never said because I didn't want to be a Debbie Downer on it. I wanted to motivate you guys and I wanted you guys to be able to relate to what I was feeling, but it's a lot of pent-up aggression against online school. But the point that I was gonna make was that, you know, you'd get done with class, you'd get done at staring at a screen for 10 hours, and then what was there to do? Go sit in my living room and make some dinner? Like, what was there to do? In-person college, you would go to class for however many hours. I used to have like 4-hour-long classes. Those sucked, but knowing that I was gonna leave and go meet my best friend and my sisters at the caf and have a good time was really motivating. And it was really like, okay, I'm gonna get through this because I have something fun to look forward to. Or even if I wasn't doing anything fun that night, just being in my dorm with my best friend was so fun and amazing and whatever. Like, whatever we were gonna get into that night, it made it worth it to be in class all day. Literally, my best friend Delaney, that's what I keep talking about when I say best friend, she would literally meet me outside of my class just to be there, and then I would walk her to her next one, and then I would go do whatever I wanted to do for the rest of the day. And it's just like, that part is gone. And that was something that I really loved about Howard. It was something that I really loved about college, not to mention the parties, which that's probably not even really gonna go back to how it was, but like, even though parties were really fun, as much as like my social anxiety was like, I still had a really good time, and I think I missed that part of college, and now I'm kind of bummed out because going back as a junior, I feel like it's not really party time anymore. I feel like I really gotta, you know, hit the ground running. I gotta get back to what I was doing. I missed an entire year, and not that everyone else didn't miss an entire year. I didn't learn as much as I should have learned for my major and minor and all of this stuff, so I just feel like I can't just mess around when I get there. I'm gonna have to be like boom, 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 boom. I'm not really gonna have time to go lollygag or miss a class or something, you know what I mean? So it's just gonna be a different vibe going back, and I'm kind of really sad that I missed this year. So I have written down nothing felt real, and I think what I mean by this is just that, like, the pandemic alone, online school, it really put a lot of things into perspective. Like, a lot of things that I cared about on campus don't matter. They don't matter at all. For example, no, I can't say that, that's rude. Things don't matter. The things that I thought mattered in college don't really matter. And again, I guess this could go back to like the social aspect of things, but even the social aspect, as much as I say it sucks that it went away, there's parts of it that I don't miss, and there's parts of it that I realize now really don't care. Like, it doesn't matter how many times I walk across the yard. If this person doesn't see me, this person doesn't see me. Like, it was just like a weird concept that I had in my mind about being in person and having to be seen that I don't have now. And maybe it's just maturing, maybe it's just not really giving a fuck anymore, but I don't feel that need anymore to be seen. I don't know. I feel like I'm just trashing on online school, but the real point of this video was to just show what it really was like for students, you know, what we really were feeling. And please feel free to comment down below, what were you feeling? Were you equally as like annoyed as I was? But another thing I will say is that I took 18 credits both semesters. The most credits that most students take is 15, sometimes 16, 17, but like 18 normally is like pushing it. That's like taking extra credits. I chose to do that because it was gonna get the like hard classes out of the way. For example, I don't have any more electives to take, which a little bit of a downside, a little bit of an upside. Downside is that I just don't have classes anymore to take, so I feel like my schedule is super open, and not that I don't enjoy that, but seeing as I missed a whole year of sitting in a classroom, I think I would have enjoyed to sit in one again. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, my point is that the reality of online school was that while I didn't learn as much, I did feel that the classes were easier, and I know not everyone felt this way, but I felt this way. I couldn't have handled 18 credits. I couldn't have done that if we were in person, but online, it was easy, breezy. It was really easy for me to take 18 credits online just because I thought, hey, you know, like nothing's really real. Like, you miss class here and there, the teachers aren't really on you. Well, okay. Really mixed opinions, because I know not everyone had this experience. This is really my own experience. And I guess some professors I had were super strict. Other professors I had were not that strict. That's another thing I guess I could critique about online school. I didn't love that professors, I feel like some of them didn't take it as seriously as others would. Sometimes I would have a professor teaching us while she's driving. Like, that's not how this is supposed to be. Or I would have a professor who expected us to be there on time every single class, but they were late multiple times. Or just things that wouldn't have been acceptable on campus were acceptable online school, but then our grades were not able to drop below an A or whatever. You had to do a certain amount of work to get that certain grades. I'm a film major, like I said, and a lot of my classes, for example, I literally took an audio class, and my professor would tell us, oh, if we were in person, I would do this, this, and this. I would show you the microphone. I would show you how to use it. But being online, you can't do that. Like, she could show us her own, but I couldn't personally like touch a microphone and do what I had to do on it to actually learn. I was just reading like book terms and writing notes on it, but that's why I say I don't feel like I actually learned what I was supposed to learn. I could watch a video, but unless you actually do it, I don't know if I'm gonna actually learn it. Also, being a film major, we have to like make short films basically at the end of semester. Not for every single class, but for at least for 2 of my classes, that was the assignment. For example, my camera is a G7X. I'm very thankful to have this camera, but a lot of people don't. And I just wonder, like, how did those kids make it work? Or editing software. Thankfully, I had the money to buy Adobe, and I have a Final Cut, and I have a computer that works, but like, what happens to the students who don't? Like, that's the point of having all these resources on campus. Or I only have a ring light, that's literally my lighting source, but then my professor was expecting us to make these like high quality, like backlit things that like I just didn't have the props for, and I made it work. It was fine and good, but I kept going back to, what about the students who don't have any of this? What about the students who are only using like their iPhone to shoot things, which I know is the case for so many people. So not just I couldn't learn on the materials and I couldn't learn how to actually like hands-on work with these things, I also really feel for the students who didn't have access to anything to create the level that our professors were expecting. I had a pretty smooth process changing my minor, which I talked about in my last video, but just everything else seemed like so much more work. It was very hard to get in contact with anyone, very hard to get in contact with professors. Communication was off. For example, I submitted one of my essays in the wrong slot. I had emailed my professor to tell him that, asking like what the solution could be, but of course he didn't email me like right away back, and then by the time he emailed me back, like I was probably sleeping or something, so I couldn't get to him right away. And it was just like a lot of miscommunication that could have been avoided if we were on campus, because I literally could have just went to his office and like, hey, I submitted this incorrectly, can I just give it to you as a hard copy, or whatever the case may be. Something good that I will say has come out of online school is I feel like that it really made me work on myself, and just the pandemic in general really made me work on myself. I mentioned this again multiple videos, I say this, but like mentally, I feel really good spiritually, I feel really good physically, you know, we're working on all that, but it like formed me in ways that wouldn't have happened had we been on campus. Because I just know for a fact, I remember where my mind was at freshman year before we went home. I know what I was thinking about, I know what I was doing every night. Like, I wasn't in this mind space that I'm in right now, so I am really thankful for that. And even though, again, online school had so many ups and downs, it really gave me a lot of time to do what I needed to do, to work on my YouTube channel, to really like get my footing in place, you know? So, you know, there were some bad parts, there were some good parts. Something good, I will say, Howard, thankfully, I know this is not every school, Howard gave us a spring break, so that is always very helpful. I was able to go to Hawaii, as you guys saw, but even if I didn't go on a trip, which I know most people didn't go on trips, it would have been nice to have that week, to not have to do schoolwork, to not have to do anything. Thankfully, my professors didn't like assign anything, which I know that wasn't the case for some people. I have mixed emotions about it. I know at the beginning of this, I was very much like just shitting on online school. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. But I'm not looking forward if I have to do this again. I'm really looking forward to being on campus. I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone again. So I'm hoping that's the case, but you know, you never know. But I think that is my official recap of online school. I think that is everything I want to say. I have a final to take in a couple minutes. Okay, I'll see you guys in my next video. There we go. Online school thoughts, we're done with that now, and on to all the fun content that I have planned.